Hey everybody. So today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to cover a bruise. So some of you who are friends with me on Facebook probably know that I got this because my daughter lunged in for a hug and her head just knocked me right in the face. I thought of a cool story where I could say, oh yeah, I just joined a roller derby, league and got an elbow to the face as my initiation, but that's probably not believable. So I'm going to quickly show you how I'm going to cover this up. I have never done a cover up like this before, so if it doesn't work, I won't post this video. If it does work, then that's why you're watching this. And I'm just using stuff that I have on hand. So if you have, I'm going to use an orange eyeshadow that I have in my Morphe palette. This is the 350M, so Nature Glow, the matte. So all of these colors are matte, so there's not going to be any shimmer, and it is very difficult to open when you have long nails. So I'm going to be using this color right here. This is like the orangest color that's in this palette, but it is very like a deep orange, like a burnt orange color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it two different ways. First way I'm going to try and do this is I'm going to take up some of this powder and mix it with a liquid concealer to kind of make it a little bit less dark orange. But basically what this is doing is I'm color correcting all of those purple, really dark purple and blue tones in this bruise, and then once that kind of sets, I'm going to cover it again with just regular, just regular concealer that I have. And hopefully once that kind of sets, it will have disappeared for the most part, because then I'm just going to cover it up again with just eyeshadow and eyeshadow look. So the concealer I'm using is my MaryKay concealer. This is the Very Light. I like to use this every now and then for a really light highlight under my eye, but I don't really use it for spot treatment because it's almost too light. The other concealer that I have is this NYX duo. It's contour and concealer. This one's really thick, creamy stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out and then just kind of roll a couple. I think actually that might be enough. I'm just gonna roll that much onto my hand. Then I'm gonna take this brush. It is my packing brush from Morphe. I got it in this rose gold collection. Thank you, Kelsey. This is my Christmas present from her. So I'm gonna take up this eyeshadow. I'm really gonna get a lot of that powder off. So I'm just going back and forth, applying a lot of pressure. So that smudge has come off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap off the dust onto there, so that way I don't get this brush covered in concealer. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my MaryKay concealer brush, and I'm going to mix that together and see how it comes out. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Probably need a lot more because it's just soaking into the brush. So hold on. So this does not seem to be working very well. It's not mixing very well. I would probably need a whole lot of that orange to come off and go into here to mix. So I'm gonna actually kind of almost save this for later. Just set that brush off to the side. So now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna switch gears and I'm gonna try just applying the eyeshadow on. And see how that goes. I'm just using my little mirror and my compact. So I'm using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer to kind of help the eyeshadow stick better. And I'm going all over where I want to apply it. So that means I'm also going here, so that way it sticks. Okay, just gonna lightly blend that in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to like really hardly tap off a lot of this excess because it's so much. And I'm left with about like that much coverage on my brush. And then I'm going to only apply it where the bruise is. I'm not going to apply it all over. So that way it doesn't, you know, make my regular skin look weird. And now I'm going to use my little bullet brush that also came with my rose palette, or my rose gold palette. My rose gold brush collection. And I'm going to do that in here, so that way it gets access to those smaller spaces. Now that that's on, I'm going to lightly dust off any like loose powder that isn't, you know, on there. And then I'm going to take that concealer that I tried mixing and apply it on there. So the MaryKay concealer I really like. It's really, really creamy, but you can use any like full coverage concealer that you want. And then I'm going to take my beauty blender and then just kind of blend that a little bit better. So now it looks kind of like peachy. A little bit more concealer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off this brush real quick because I want to get just regular light concealer. I don't want any more orange pigment in there. And this is a technique that you can use on any part of your face that has a bruise. Since I'm going to be covering this with makeup, I don't really mind if it's not like 100% perfect. This is also a good technique for, you know, dark circles under your eyes, just to like color correct that, because orange or yellow, it depends on how like dark your under eye circles are. I wouldn't use like this dark orange that I used for an under eye color correcting. I would use more of like a light orange kind of yellow look to it. So this is the dirty side. I'm going to use the opposite side so that way it's not getting any more color on there. And I'm like really lightly dabbing so that way I don't take off anything. And then I'm just gonna blend that up all the way to my brow. Gonna get a little bit more concealer. You know, it seems like a lot, but then like once it's on and it's set, it will look beautiful and it'll look completely covered. It's already looking a lot better. And there we go. So now, like, you can see all that concealer there. I'm going to take my dry beauty blender and just kind of like buff that out and blend it out. Just where there's just too much. And I'm going back into that kind of orangey one to kind of cover any like spots that weren't perfect. Because I am a perfectionist when it comes to like, you know, making, I don't know, I'm just a perfectionist, I guess. Okay. Just lightly blend that. So the best way to use a beauty blender, if you guys aren't aware, is dampened. So that way it doesn't absorb anything that you have already put on your face. And yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much as good as it's gonna get. It was a lot better than before. It's really tacky, my goodness. Oops, I accidentally took some off of a Bruise part. So now how I'm going to set it is with powder. Just some translucent powder. I use NYX. I also have a MaryKay one, but this was the first one I grabbed, so. And then, dusty. So I'm using my big fluffy brush from also a Morphe brush from that rose gold palette, and I'm just like completely saturating my brush with it, and then I'm just going to like really lightly dust. And this will probably take like a lot because it's a really thick amount of concealer that I have on, to make sure that it stays put. And the way I'll know if it's really like if it's set enough, like, is if I can run my brush along it and it doesn't like feel like it's sticking. Yeah, that feels good. So yeah, for the most part, it is pretty covered. There's still like a couple of spots, like here it's still pretty dark. I think it did a good job because I'm still gonna be covering it up with some makeup to blend it out a little bit more. But now I'm going to stop the video, and then I'll post a before and after with it so that you can see how it looks. You know, now I'll put some more like concealer on this eye. I'll do also like side by side without any makeup on, and then with a full like eye look. Going to stick to browns because they will still have like an orangey pigment underneath of it. If I did anything like purples or, you know, pinks or anything like that, it won't look as good because this still does have like a little bit of a dark bruise look. But for the most part, like I could, if I just put some concealer on this side and then like, you know, of course like blended it out and everything, it would look pretty good on both sides. Excited to see that it actually went pretty well. I mean, this is my first time ever color correcting other than like using green to cover pimples when I was younger. But yeah, so let me know if you guys like this. Thanks, bye.